everyone, and welcome back to our community. If you're new, I am Jen. I focus on all things health, wellness, productivity, self-care, all while living in New York City, travel, lifestyle, all of the things. I tried out acupuncture for 5 weeks to figure out if it was something that could maybe help ease my anxiety, my stress, my overwhelm, and also my IBS. It's all correlated. The gut and anxiety are definitely directly correlated, so I went for it all. So first things first, what is acupuncture? So acupuncture involves the insertion of tiny needles through your skin at strategic pressure points in your body. So acupuncture is a key component of traditional Chinese medicine. It's most commonly used to treat pain, but increasingly it's also used for overall wellness, including stress management, which is a main reason why I went. So traditional Chinese medicine explains acupuncture as a technique for balancing the flow of energy or life force. So by inserting needles into specific points in your body, acupuncture practitioners believe that your energy flow will rebalance. And I thought that was worth a shot. So if that's a little confusing, a little woo-woo, a little not tangible, not concrete, not detailed enough for you, I understand, me too, which is why I had to try it out myself for you guys. So let's walk through what each session actually looked like. So I went to a place called Aura Space in NoHo. It's in New York City, and they also just opened a studio on the Upper East Side. So for me, in this acupuncture studio, which a lot of wellness studios will be like, it felt like a luxury spa the moment you walked in, which is great because walking in for the first time to get a bunch of needles put into you, or any time really, it can be a bit anxiety inducing, the fear of the unknown. So to walk into somewhere that felt so relaxing and such like a spa-like experience allowed me to enjoy it a lot more. So they'll take you into your own private room as if you were going into a massage. So if you've ever gotten an eyebrow wax or a massage, it's the same type of small room with the bed. And for me, they asked me if I wanted to listen to ocean and water sounds or if I wanted to listen to spa music. So the second time I chose water sounds, I thought, it would be like relaxing, like I'm on the beach, but I had to pee so badly the entire time, so that was the only time I made that mistake, and then I went back to spa music. But essentially, when you first go in there, you will have a conversation with your acupuncturist talking about any physical pain points, any emotional, mental turmoil, or just what your emotional and mental state is. They might ask you questions about your stool. They might ask you how your sleep has been. Have you felt energized or super fatigued? Things like that, just to get to know you better. Even though, yes, everyone is getting needles put in them, they're going to figure out the best course of treatment for you. Whether you're going to be lying face up or face down, whether they're going to put more needles in your shoulders if you're having shoulder pain, or maybe more needles in your stomach, like for me, for IBS, or like they did at Heat Lamp for me. So they really talk you through everything. It almost feels like a little therapy appointment, which is kind of nice because they'll even end up offering you other Chinese medicinal practices. So for me, at the end, she ended up telling me that for me, it would be great to start sipping on bone broth or different things like that because it is a Chinese medicine, holistic, natural treatment acupuncture. So they are going to offer you other treatment as well. So then they will leave you alone in the room. They'll tell you exactly, to wear. So there's like a little robe, a little sarong that you put on, depending on if you're going to be face up, face down. They'll tell you what to do. And sometimes I feel this way in the gynecologist. I'm like, are you expecting me to know like where to put this? Please tell me. So definitely ask and follow up if you're unclear. And then after a few minutes of letting you change, they'll come back in the room and start treatment. So essentially they will put needles in different pressure points from head to toe, also depending on what your treatment is for. You'll have the opportunity to ask them questions while they're doing it. They'll ask you questions depending on your acupuncturist. I had one acupuncturist one week who she put the needle in and then she would like put pressure with her hand over it, which I really like. Some of them are just super quick. Some of them will say take a deep breath in and then they'll put it in. You could test around and play around with what you like. You can ask your acupuncturist to please put pressure on it after, or just see what they end up doing for you. But I found that interesting that each person did a different thing and all of them were very helpful. So they'll inform you on what you're doing. I found it really interesting to ask about each pressure point. Then they put a heating lamp over my stomach just to give me additional IBS treatment. Okay, so what you're all wondering, I'm sure, which was my biggest concern, what does it feel like? Does it hurt? Like, why do people willingly go and get needles all over their bodies? They must be in dire pain. Like, that sounds like the absolute last resort, right? No. You do feel something though, because I know a lot of the times, like what I heard was like, oh, it's nothing, you feel nothing. For me, I'm like, so many people have acupuncture, you must really feel nothing. No, you feel something. You feel a little pinch, almost like a finger prick, but not even. It's not like a shot. There were certain points where I felt like a zinger, I kept saying, but then a lot of them I didn't feel anything really at all, except like I felt something go in me. Literally, barely. It did not hurt by any means. And then some of them felt like just a sensation. I don't know how else to describe it, but definitely not painful enough for me to not want to go back. It was just a sensation, and the way I like to think of it was like there was a blockage there that needed to be released. And that's essentially what they would say. They would be like, oh yeah, that's your pressure point that's connected to your stomach or connected to anxiety and stress. Like, that's telling. So I found that interesting. But if you are someone who's super worried about that or concerned about that, I did talk to my acupuncturist for you guys to ask her about what if you're nervous about the needles. Every time I've posted like, oh, I'm trying out acupuncture for a month, everyone's been like, how do you get over the fear of the needles? Like, how do you go and willingly get needles put into you? So what is like your tip for someone who's scared to go for their first time?
As you know, having experienced acupuncture, it does not feel like an injection. It does not feel like getting your blood taken. You might feel a little pinch when the needle goes in, but after that, you might feel dull achiness, tingling sensation, a heaviness. So if anything, it might feel weird, but it shouldn't hurt. Again, feedback to the acupuncturist, oh, this needle's a little bit burny, this needle's a little bit pinchy. To give you an idea of how tiny the needles are, you can fit 30 of acupuncture needles into one hypodermic needle.
Wow.
So they're hair thin. If you're feeling like, okay, it's my first time, I'm really nervous about the needles, tell your acupuncturist, I like having people breathe when the acupuncture needle's going in. So exhaling, which will kick in that, again, that rest and digest nervous system when we're breathing out to help relax you. Making sure you're not doing a lot of caffeine before you come in is really important. Making sure you eat. Make sure you're eating a little something before you first come in. So I don't want you to like go have a Thanksgiving meal before you come in. Don't come in on an empty stomach. Acupuncture's work. Like I said, I've been saying we're moving things. And so you need a little bit of energy to be rooted so that we can do that work. Sometimes people feel more sensitive when they're menstruating, so tell your acupuncturist that. So all of this, again, is like just let your acupuncturist know, and we have tips and tricks to make you feel more comfortable. And ultimately, you will find that after that little pinch, I feel so relaxed. I feel so good. Worth a little bit of that like apprehension at the beginning.
Okay, so then after you're all set with your treatment, the needles are in, we're over our fear of the needles, they're in, we're good. You will be left alone for anywhere from like 20 to 30 minutes to just rest. So for me, they would ask me, do you want the lights on? You want them off? You want them dimmed? Like, how would you like to relax? And then they also hand you a little buzzer so that if you are, whether it's anxious or something's feeling uncomfortable or the room is hot or whatever it is, you can buzz them. I know for me, that made me feel very comfortable. I don't have a fear of fainting, but I am prone to fainting. So that was something I was concerned about. Like, if I fall off of this thing and I have needles in me, like the irrational fears that we have, knowing that I could just buzz if I felt faint was like something that really eased my mind. But essentially, you're supposed to rest, meditate, take a nap, which is a really relaxing, nice thing to do for yourself. But I did ask my acupuncturist if that was common, because some weeks I would feel more antsy or more anxious than other weeks. So here is what she said about it. Is it normal? I know I've actually heard from other women as well that this has happened during the session while you're sitting there, the needles are in, to feel super anxious. Is that the pure nature of like having to sit still for a while, or what is that about?
I think that is for some people. Ultimately, we do not want you to do that. We want you to feel very relaxed. You know, people fall asleep. I love when people fall asleep. So here at Aura, we do leave you with a buzzer in the treatment room. So if you're finding that you're having a hard time relaxing, press that buzzer. We can come in and put other points. We can, you know, maybe change the music, things like that. Also, I think we are not trained, especially as New Yorkers, to actually relax. So relaxing is an active process. So using that time of maybe ask the acupuncturist to put a meditation on for you if you find that you resonate with that. Doing your breath exercises, doing things that you already do to help you relax. The other thing that can sometimes happen with an acupuncture treatment is that you can feel really relaxed, fall asleep, and then you wake up and then start feeling a little antsy. That means you're cooked. You'll find as you get more acupuncture that you'll kind of be like, oh yeah, like I know what she's talking about. Press the buzzer. That means that you may not need such a long treatment. Really, each person is individual. It's not like a one thing fits all, but those are all issues of what might be happening. Also with that feeling like buzzy or anxious, again, acupuncture is really good at moving things. So again, it might be too much of a stimulating treatment for you. We're moving too much too fast. So again, feedback to the acupuncturist, we're working together.
What I also found interesting, I wanted to talk to my acupuncturist about, some weeks I would go in the morning or midday, and other weeks I would go at night. And what I have heard, because of this relaxing, almost napping experience that takes place and how zen you feel from it and how it really is a spa treatment, a lot of people, a lot of my friends had told me definitely go and do acupuncture at like 5 so you can almost like float home and get to bed. But I tried out a bunch of different times in the day. Sometimes I felt really energized, sometimes I felt really zen. So here's what my acupuncturist said about that. Sometimes I leave feeling super lethargic, tired, like not like I want to go work out, I want to go rest. And then sometimes it was actually a pick-me-up and I felt great and energized and very focused and alert as if I had just meditated. It does seem similar to meditation in that way. Does that have to do with what time of day? What does that have to do with?
I would definitely speak to your acupuncturist. We're working together with you. Ultimately, you are the one doing the work. Your body is healing itself. So talk to your acupuncturist. Hey, last time I felt really lethargic afterwards. Because that's information for us. That might mean that you need a shorter treatment. A treatment that's maybe not so draining, I mean by like not so moving. That we're kicking up stuff, we're moving stuff, and then the body has to process that. Also, acupuncture is really good at kicking in that rest and digest nervous system. So if your body needs a rest, sometimes the body's like, okay, it's safe to rest now. You might feel a little bit more tired. Ultimately, we want that feeling like you just had a meditation where you're rested and energized both.
Got it.
So do speak to your acupuncturist about that, because then we can tweak your treatment specifically for you.
So after you've rested, you've meditated, you're good, they will come back in and take the needles out. This is not painful at all. This is not even a zinger. This isn't a pinch. Like truly, you barely feel it actually. It's kind of crazy, like how once you hit the pressure points, you might feel something, but when you're taking them out, like she said earlier, it's like hair thin. It's like nothing. So popping them out is no big deal. You're also in a very relaxed state, so maybe that has something to do with it, but no, it really doesn't hurt once you're taking them out. So before we get into the conclusion, I'm going to show you some real-time post-acupuncture reaction clips so you can see how I felt or how my energy was after the experience.
Okay, I feel amazing after that. I feel like every time I've come back, I feel less nervous, less anxious. It feels like the new normal to me now. Like I just feel aligned after I leave there, and I never knew what that meant until I started meditating, and then until I started doing this. I finally feel what it's like to feel totally aligned and just like centered and grounded, especially in a city like New York. I feel like wellness practices like this, although so expensive and like what else can we afford in the city, it is something I'm going to consider continuing because it's helping me that much.
So that's how I felt directly after my 5th session. And all in all, I genuinely do still agree with that. I think acupuncture is around like $175 a session. I'm sure you can find some other studios that are less spa-like or like less luxurious for maybe like $75. I'm not sure. But my point is, it's a very expensive treatment to be going weekly because I don't even like to spend that on a haircut, let alone something I'm doing once to twice a week. So did I find it absolutely life-changing? Honestly, no. Do I think it really added value and benefit to my life and my energy levels? Yes. So if I was budgeting less and had more to spend on this, I would probably continue doing it weekly. If I ever feel like I need it, I will, because I do think it truly helped in a lot of ways, which I'll get into now. Was it worth it? Is it worth the money? Yes. However, I would feel the need to cut back on like manicures, haircuts, a lot of different things. So for the place I'm in right now, I really would only do it if I had overwhelming anxiety, if I had serious back pain or like serious pain that was really getting in my way of performing everyday life, then absolutely I think it works and I would spend it. Candidly, I got these sessions for free for this video, so fortunately I did not have to deal with that, but it was not lost on me, and the thought of continuing on with it, I would have to pay for my sessions, and I just don't know that I can do it, but it's a personal decision for everyone, and I think would I jump at the chance for more free sessions? Absolutely. So let's get into why I do think it's such great value. So this might be weird to say, or it might not make sense, and I don't know if I would understand it if I didn't experience it myself, but I've never felt so aligned. I feel very clear-headed. I feel like my energy levels are leveled out, like I have a very balanced flow of energy throughout the day. Every day I'm not super fatigued or super like too manically energized or anxious at any given time. So I do feel like that has to do with balancing my blood and energy flow every single week. It makes complete sense to me. It has been so easy for me to sleep every week. You get very sleepy and have the best sleep of your life the night of acupuncture. So it makes sense that if I'm getting it once a week, this whole month has been filled with very, very easy sleeps. I fall asleep so quickly and get very deep sleep. So that's really helped. I'm sure if you struggle with insomnia, acupuncture could be a great thing for you. One thing that's awesome about acupuncture that I actually learned when I interviewed the owner of Aura Wellness Space Acupuncture Chinese Medicine Studio was she said acupuncture really is a solution for everything. You got back pain, you have bad periods, you have PCOS, you have bad anxiety, like it really is such a great holistic option for any of your struggles. So that's why I think it's so incredible because it helped me in so many different areas of my life. I do think it really helped my stomach. I went from being one end or the other to being like pretty regular and great. So that's a great sign. And I haven't had any severe pain during the month of this treatment. That being said, I do think I would have to go like twice a week for multiple months to really have it like fix my stomach. I do recommend listening to that episode if you want to know more about the actual practice, the nitty gritty, what it's like to open up your own studio, things like that. Definitely listen at the link in the description. It's called Dare to Self-Care, and that is my podcast. So that is my overall conclusion. If you have tried acupuncture, definitely comment down below and let me know if you guys enjoyed it, if it's life-changing. After this video, I'm really tempted to go take a look at like any acupuncture packages around the city that are of great value. If you know of any, comment them down below. I hope this video was helpful. Please give it a thumbs up. It helps the algorithm know that you guys are liking these videos. It helps me know you like these kinds of videos. And if you want any other wellness practices to be tried, definitely comment them down below. Please subscribe if you're new. I would love to have you a part of this community, and I will see you guys next week.